Good morning, boys and girls. My name is Erica Alleyne Charles, and welcome to SCA Time. Today, we'll be looking at the perimeter and the area of compound shapes. Remember, before we would have looked at perimeter of plane shapes and also the area of plane shapes. So what do you think is a compound shape? Well, those plane shapes join together. So today we are going to be looking at that. How do we find the perimeter and the area of compound shapes? All right. What shape do I have here? Triangle, square, rectangle. What I'm going to do now is to make a compound shape. We'll go on the board. So I'm going to use different combinations and let's see how many compound shapes we can come up with. So I'm starting off with my triangle. And then I added the square. Children, this is an example of a compound shape. The two of them are joined together. Are you seeing that? Let's try a different combination now. What if I try the triangle and the rectangle? Are you seeing it? Compound shape. Compound shape. And if I were to add the square to it, why not? Are you seeing this, boys and girls? This is an example of a compound shape. So today we're going to be looking in more detail at compound shapes. Now, when we're looking at the perimeter of compound shapes, we'll be concentrating on the square and the rectangle. When we're looking at the area, we'll also be concentrating on the square and the rectangle. So just bear that in mind. All right, boys and girls? So stay with me now as we continue to find the perimeter and the area of compound shapes. All right, so we're going to start off now with the perimeter of compound shapes. Could you remember what perimeter means? The distance around. So as we read this question, I want you to bear that in mind. We are looking at the distance around. So let's read this question together now. The shape of a floor above has two sections. An equilateral triangle A is attached to one side of a square B, which has sides of 12 meters. Calculate the perimeter of the floor. Let's read it again. The shape of a floor above has two sections. An equilateral triangle A is attached to one side of a square B, which has sides of 12 meters. Calculate the perimeter of the floor. What do we know? We know that perimeter means what? The distance around. So I'm going to trace that with the marker now. Look at me. So this is what we want to get here. We are looking at the distance around. Are we going to include here? We are not going to include them because that is not the perimeter. It is the distance around the entire shape. Good. So let's go from there now. What information is given? The shape of the floor has two sections. This is A, this is B. An equilateral triangle A. This is our equilateral triangle. Correct. All the sides are equal. Bear that in mind now. An equilateral triangle A is attached to one side of a square B. We have square B here. If the equilateral triangle is attached to square B, what can we say about the sides of the square and the sides of the equilateral triangle? Tell me. Yes, they are all equal. An equilateral triangle has 3 equal sides. A square has 4 equal sides. Let's read on. An equilateral triangle is attached to one side of a square B, which has sides of 12 meters. You see here? Very, very important. So we know now that the sides of the square are 12 meters, and guess what? The equilateral triangle will also have sides of 12 meters. Could we write in that information? Let's do that. 12 meters, 12 meters, 12 meters, 12 meters, 12 meters. Now this will also be 12 meters, but are we going to use this line here? We're not going to use that, because why? It is not included in the perimeter. So we know that it is also equal to 12 meters, but because it's not included in the perimeter of the shape, we are not counting this. So what will be the perimeter of the shape? Let's see. It will be, we can say perimeter of A and B. And what can we say? We can say what? 12 meters, add 12 meters, add 12 meters, add 12 meters, add 12 meters. Or, what can we say? Or, we can say 12 meters multiplied by 5, because there are 5 exposed areas. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? When we add up all of this, we'll get 60 meters here. Likewise, 12 multiplied by 5 will give us 60 meters. The perimeter of this compound shape is 60 meters. You're always looking at the outer sides or the outer edges. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? Wonderful. Now, boys and girls, we are going to look at another question which involves perimeter. Let's look at this question and read with me now. 10 squares of sides 6 centimeters are placed together on a shape shown. What is the distance around the shape? Read it again. 10 squares of sides 6 centimeters are placed together on a shape shown. What is the distance around the shape? Let's look at the shape. Are you seeing the squares? We have the 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wonderful. They ask, what is the distance around the shape? So what are we going to look at? I'm going to trace it. We are looking at the perimeter. Are you seeing it? The perimeter. Wonderful. Because distance around is perimeter. Do you remember that? Now, what other information is given? It says 10 squares of side 6 centimeters. It means each square has a side of 6 centimeters. That information is very, very important. So let's go. But what should we do first? What should we do first? Since we know that each side is 6 centimeters, shouldn't we count the number of exposed sides? Yes, we must. Let's count the number of exposed sides of the squares. Count with me now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Did you get 16? Well done. There are 16 sides that are exposed. Remember, it's the perimeter we're looking at. What information is given? Each side measures 6 centimeters. We know the number of exposed sides and we know the length of each side. Can we find the distance around? Can we find the perimeter? Yes, we can. What are we going to say? We are going to say 16 multiplied by 6. We are going to say the 16, remember we counted the 16, and we're going to multiply by the 6. So what did we get? 96 centimeters. 96 centimeters represents the total distance around the shape. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? Are we going to go on the inside? No. Why? We are dealing with perimeter. And what is perimeter again? The distance around. Children, remember, with perimeter, you're always looking at the exterior sides that are given. All right? All right, boys and girls. Sometimes you may be given a compound shape, but they are missing dimensions. In other words, some sides are not given. How are you able to find the perimeter? So that is what we're going to be looking at today. Now that I'm going to give you a shape, and we have to find the missing sides before we find the perimeter of the said shape. So come with me to the board now. It says, calculate the perimeter of the yard shown. So if you notice, you're seeing an L here. This is a yard, all right? It's in this form here, but again, it's a compound shape. What are you really seeing there? Are you seeing it? It's like two rectangles that are joined together, all right? But if it is, we have to find the perimeter of the shape. What are we focusing on? I know you have it now. We are looking at the distance around. Are you with me now? But before we can calculate the perimeter of this yard, I am seeing something that is missing. Are you seeing it too? We do not have all the dimensions given. Can you see which parts of the compound shape has no dimension given? Correct. There's no dimension given for here, and there's no dimension given for here. So let's see if we can label it. Let's say we're going to label the vertical one A and the horizontal one B. How do you suggest we find the length of A? We have a vertical line here which is 18 meters in length. And if you look very carefully, we also have a vertical line here which is 4 meters in length. Now if you were to imagine if this were an entire rectangle, work with me now. Remember, this length would be 18 meters. Are you seeing it with me? It would be 18 meters. And this entire length here would be what? 20 meters. Are you seeing it, boys and girls? Wonderful. What do you think we can do to find A, which is the missing side? Well, since you know that this is 18 meters, this side is 18 meters, then we know that here would also be what? 18 meters. Are you seeing it? So, in order to find A, can we not say 18 meters and we take away the 4 meters that's given? Oh, yes, we can. So, in other words, to find A, we can say the 18 meters, take away the 4 meters. So, let's do that. And what will we get? We will get 14 meters. So in truth and in fact, A, are you seeing that, boys and girls? What about B? Some of you have already worked it out, you know. We have this length here being 20 meters. Wouldn't this length also be 20 meters? Are you seeing it? I drew it out for you. And if we are given the 8 meters here, can we find this length here? Are you seeing it? Are you seeing how I'm matching it up? What are we going to say? We are going to say 20 meters, take away 8 meters to find B. Boys and girls, are you with me? And what are we going to get? We're going to get 12 meters. So far, so good. I'm going to put in that information now. So far, so good? Wonderful. Can we now find the perimeter of this compound shape? Yes, we can. Because we have put in all the missing sides. We have put in all the missing dimensions. What are we going to do now? We are just going to add up all the sides that are given. So let's do that now. So the perimeter of the shape now we can start anyway. It's your choice. You can start anyway. But you just remember where you started. So I'm going to start here with 8 meters and I'm going to go to my right. Make sure that you don't leave out any of the dimensions. That's very, very important. So we'll say 8 meters, add 14 meters, add 12 meters, add 4 meters, add 20 meters, and then we add the 18 meters there. All right, so 8 meters add 14 meters. Let's do that. 8 and 14 will give us 22. So we have 22 meters. We are going to add the 12. Are you seeing that? So we have what? 34 meters. We just keep on adding. We have the 4. Add the 4. We're going to have the 38 meters. Right? I'm going on this side now. 38 meters, add 20. We have 58 meters. And then finally, we have the 18 meters to add there. So 58 meters, add 18 meters will give us what? 76 meters. So boys and girls, what we have realized today is that the perimeter of this compound shape is 76 meters. Can you remember what we did? Let's go back. In order to find the perimeter of the compound shape, we must ensure that we have all given dimensions. Remember that? Remember we had A, that was missing, and B was missing. What we did? We first found what was the length of A, then we found the length of B. After doing that, now we could find the perimeter of the shape. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? Remember, when you see problems like these, I want you to try and do them. All you have to do is to find the missing dimensions and then move forward from there. All right, boys and girls. Now we are going to do something that is very, very interesting. You are going to draw. I hope you have your pencils and your rulers with you. We are going to draw a compound shape. How many of you have done that before? Well, you're going to be given certain criteria, and we have to work with that in order to get the compound shape. Let's read the question now. Using the grid above, construct a shape with a perimeter of 24 centimeters using 1 square and 1 rectangle. Are you seeing the grids? We'll take them one at a time. Using the grid above, construct a shape with a perimeter of 24 centimeters using 1 square and 1 rectangle. I'm seeing you all now drawing and trying to do what it is you can. Remember, the perimeter must be 24 centimeters. All right. We know we must use a square. We know that we must use a rectangle. So what we can do is probably do a little sketch. Can we do that? So we have our square. Does that look like a compound shape? So the square would be on top and the rectangle would be at the bottom. Now you could flip it and turn it any way you want. But remember, we have to get 24 centimeters as the perimeter. Some of you are wondering what to do. How can we get that? Let's see. Let's try something. Let's start with the square first. What do we know about a square? A square has all its sides equal. Do you understand that? What else do we know from the question? The question says that the entire shape must have a perimeter of 24 centimeters. Let's start with the square. Remember, it is your choice. Let us say you want your square to have dimensions of 3 centimeters. So it would be 3, 3, 3, 3. Bear this in mind. Remember, all 4 sides must be 3 centimeters. But I want you to remember this. Remember, this part is joined on to the rectangle. Are you hearing me, boys and girls? So look at what we are going to do. I'm going to take the 24 centimeters I am going to subtract the exposed sides of the square. 3 add 3 add 3 will give me what? 9 centimeters. Let's take that out. That will give me 15 centimeters. What's something now? I want to now find the perimeter of the rectangle down here. Length and breadth, not so boys? Remember that, huh? I am going to take the 3 centimeters and I'm going to add it to the 15 centimeters there. When I add the 3 centimeters here, this will give me 18 centimeters, and this will actually be the perimeter of the rectangle. So we want to use this 18 centimeters here now to get the perimeter of the rectangle. Are you with me? Let's go. I'm going to put the 18 centimeters here. How do you find the perimeter of a rectangle? Length add breadth multiplied by 2. Right, remember that. Length add breadth multiplied by 2 will give you the perimeter of your rectangle. We have established that the perimeter of the rectangle is 18 centimeters. So what I'm going to do, we are going to work backwards now. We want to identify what length and what breadth will give us that 18 centimeters. So work with me now. We want to get 18 centimeters in the end. So I'm starting from the end first. We said we must multiply by 2, length add breadth multiplied by 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a box to represent. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So the first box can represent your length, and the second box can represent the breadth. So far, so good? What combination of numbers multiplied by 2 will give you 18? Well, you must first know what the sum of the numbers in the brackets will be. And it will be 9. Are you seeing that? Because 9 multiplied by 2 will give you 18. So far, so good? What if we try 7? 7 add 2. If you try 7 add 2. So 7 add 2 will give you 9. 9 multiplied by 2 will give you 18. So in other words, when I am going to draw my compound shape, I will remember that the side of the square will be 3 centimeters. Remember, we established that before. And the length of the rectangle will be what? What did we choose? 7 centimeters, agreed? And the breadth of the rectangle will be, what did we get? 2 centimeters. Boys and girls, are you with me? Now we are going to draw. We don't want to make any errors on the grid, you know. Now remember this grid, we're going to look at the first grid. Each measurement here represents 1 centimeter. So we are going to draw now. You have to take your time. Get a ruler and we are going to draw. So let's start with the square first. I'm going to use a different color marker. What did we say? The side of the square must be what? 3 centimeters. So let's draw. 1, 2, 3. Are you seeing that? So far, so good? 1, 2, 3. So far, so good? Right. Now remember that this part will be joined onto the rectangle. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? But let's put it, no problem. I want you to be able to see it clearly. Now, the rectangle, remember we made a model before. We want to get the length here being what? 7 centimeters. Can you draw it with me? Now we already have 3 here. Let's go. If I start on this side, 2, and I put 2 more on this side. Let's see. Count with me now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wonderful. So we have the length, remember we got that, being 7 centimeters. What about the breadth? What about the breadth? What did we get? 2. So let's draw that now. 1, 2. And what we do now, we close off our compound shape. Boys and girls, are you seeing that? Are you seeing that? Now, here's the tricky part. We have to count to see if the perimeter is indeed, where is it? 24 centimeters. Will you count with me? Now, what do we have to remember? Are we going to count this line here? No, 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 because that is no longer in the perimeter. Let me trace it. We're looking at this. Look at me. Did you see me go inside? No, because we are focusing on the perimeter, the outer sides. Are you with me? Let's count. I feel somebody already count, you know. But let's count together to see if we really got 24 centimeters as the perimeter. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. I think I'm a little bit nervous. I want to make sure we get the 24. Let's go. 4, 5, 6. Remember, this is here. 7, 8. Keep on going. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Are you keeping up with me? 18, 19, 20. Let's go. It's so close. 21. Remember the side here. 22, 23, 24. We got it. You did it. So this compound shape indeed has a perimeter of 24 centimeters. Boys and girls, do you understand that? Remember, you can use your own little ways to find out, you know, and I want you to draw this. But what we are going to do, we're going to try a different square now. This first square, we said 3 centimeters. Not so, boys and girls? Let's do another one with the side of the square being a different measurement. All right, boys and girls. Now we are going to try the same thing, but I want to use a different measurement for the square. Previously, we used 3 centimeters. What if we use 2 centimeters? Remember, I told you all that. I feel that somebody working out this already, you know, but that's okay. We're going to apply the same principle. Remember the diagram? We have the square and we have the rectangle. But this time we are using 2 centimeters. I'm waiting on you. All right. So what are we going to see? If the side of the square is 2 centimeters, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means 2, 2, 2. Are you seeing it, boys and girls? The perimeter is, same thing, 24 centimeters. So you're going to take out that information. All right, so you're going to say 24 centimeters, and we're going to take out 6. 2, 4, 6. Are you with me, boys and girls? What are we going to get? We are going to get what? 18 centimeters. What are we going to do with the 18 centimeters? Do you remember? We are going to add the 2 centimeters, remember, from here? Are you seeing it? So that we are going to use that information to get the perimeter of the rectangle. So first I must say 18 centimeters, add the 2 centimeters, which will give me the 20 centimeters. What does the 20 centimeters represent, boys and girls? It represents the perimeter of your rectangle. Are you seeing that? Wonderful. So same procedure, let's go. We want to get 20 centimeters at the end here. What is the rule? Length at breadth multiplied by 2. Multiplying by 2. So far, so good? So the first box will represent the length, And the second box will represent the breadth. What will be the sum of the numbers in the brackets? Well, you have to multiply by 2. So the sum of it must be what? 10. Are you seeing that? Because 10 twos are 20. What combination are we going to use? What combination? You could say 7 and 3, 8 and 2, 6 and 4. What you want to use? 6 and 4? Let's try 6 and 4. What I am using 6 and 4. You could use 7 and 3. You could use 8 and 2. But just remember that the sum must be equal to what? 10. Are you with me, boys and girls? Because 10 multiplied by 2 will give me 20. So far, so good? All right. So what we are saying is that we are going to draw now our square. What will be the measurement of the square? 2 centimeters. What about the length of the rectangle? What are we using? What are we using? We are using 6. So I'm going to put 6 centimeters here. And what will we be using for the breadth? 4 centimeters. So far, so good, boys and girls? All right. Now that we have gotten all our information, remember we practiced it here. Now we can go to the grid. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So I'm going to get my ruler now. What are we going to start with first? The square. What are the dimensions of the square? 2 centimeters is the length of one side. So let's draw that now. One, 2. I'm drawing the length. 1, 2. 1, 2. So far, so good? I'm just going to put this here to complete the square. Now remember, this part will be attached to what? The rectangle. Let's go back now. What is the length we are using? 6 centimeters. Can you draw that? Can you draw that length? Let's see if we can draw it a different way. Let me see something. What if we try something? Now remember, it doesn't have to come out similar to that, but look at this. If I try a different way, would I be correct? And the breadth will be 4 centimeters. I'm coming down. All right, so let's count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did we get that? Remember, we said the length must be 6 centimeters. And the breadth of the rectangle, 1, 2, 3, 4. So far, so good. Let's enclose our rectangle now. Wonderful. So we are going to check now. We are going to look to see if we have gotten the 24 centimeters. Are you ready? Are you ready to count? Are we going to count this part here? Let me trace it with the marker. Let's look. The perimeter will be the outer sides. Are you with me, boys and girls? Let's count now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. You did it again. Wonderful, boys and girls. So, in fact, we got the perimeter of 24 centimeters in agreement with the question. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So, we used this time 2 centimeters as the side of a square. I deliberately drew it this way because I want you to realize that you don't always have to confine it to this particular way. Remember, this is a compound shape as well. So, we have this one where the square is basically in the middle, and the square could be at this side. What did the question say? Using the grid above, construct a shape with a perimeter of 24 centimeters using 1 square and 1 rectangle. 1 square, 1 rectangle. 1 square, 1 rectangle. Total perimeter, 24 centimeters. Total perimeter, 24 centimeters. Well done, boys and girls. I want you to go and explore now. I want you to draw. Get a drawing book and draw and see how many, you can even use the same 24, that's not a problem, and see how many different versions of this you can get. Go ahead now. Boys and girls, we have concluded perimeter. We are going to look at the area of compound shapes. What do we know about the compound shapes? They are made up of plane shapes. So if you know the area of a square and the area of a rectangle, you are way ahead already. Bear that in mind as we look at this problem here. Are you with me? Let's go to the board now. Let's read the question. The floor plan of a shop is shown. Calculate the area of the floor. Let's read it again. The floor plan of a shop is shown. Calculate the area of the floor. Let us look at the diagram here. Is it a compound shape? It is indeed. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? What did I say about compound shapes? I said that they are made up of plane shapes. Do you remember that? What can we do to this shape to get our plane shapes? Can we break it up? Yes, we can. We can break it up into manageable shapes, shapes that we know. So that is what we are going to do right now. We're going to take this compound shape and break it up into smaller parts. So I'm going to draw it on this side here. Good. So I'm going to label now. Wonderful. The question asks us to find the area this time. Area is surface covered. Are you understanding that, boys and girls? Can we do something to this shape? Yes, we can. We are going to break it up now. Look at this. What if I were, are you seeing two different shapes there? I'm going to label this A. I'm going to label this one B. Are you seeing that? So A and B together give us the compound shape. Are you with me so far? Wonderful. Now, something is missing there. We have some missing dimensions, boys and girls. Are you seeing that? So let's see what's going on here. We have one side that is missing here, the horizontal, and we also have the vertical side missing. What are we going to do to find the missing sides? We have to find them first. All right. What did we say before? The entire length is 24 meters. Remember, if we were to draw the rectangle, remember we did it before? So we are saying to get this missing length here, what are we going to see? 24 take away the 8. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? Let's see that this side is, not to confuse you, see that is x. So x is equal to 24 meters, take away the 8 meters. And what are we going to get when we take away? We are going to get 16 meters. So x is equal to 16 meters. Then we have the little vertical part here. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? We have to find that too. So let's say that is y. It's an unknown. You could use any letter you want, but I'm just using y. How are we going to find y? What are we going to see? Well, we have the entire length of this side here being 20 meters. So we can say 20 meters, take away the 12 meters here. You see that, boys and girls? And that will give us y. 20 meters, take away the 12 meters, will give us the 8 meters. So now we have found all the missing dimensions. So we know that x is equal to 16, and we know that y is equal to 8 meters. That is very, very important. Now, remember we broke up the shape into two manageable plane shapes. We have just discovered that y is equal to 8 meters. So if y is equal to 8 meters and this side is 8 meters, what can you tell me about the shape? What can you tell me about that shape? It is a square. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? It is a square. So can you find the area of a square? What is the rule? Side multiplied by side. Wonderful. So we have area of A is equal to 8 meters multiplied by 8 meters. Are you with me so far? 64 meters squared. So we have already found the area of A. What about B? Can we find the area of B? Let's look and see what we are going to be using as the dimensions. What will be the length of B? Are you seeing that, boys and girls? 24 meters. Remember, we have the imaginary line drawn here. 24 meters. And what is the breadth? Would this be the breadth? No. This would be the breadth here, the 12 meters. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So this is your rectangle here. Are you seeing it? Wonderful. So the area of B, which is a rectangle, what are we going to use as the rule? Length multiplied by breadth. So area of B, just look at your dimensions, 24 meters multiplied by 12 meters. So you're going to do our multiplication at the side. So we got 288 meters squared. Boys and girls, are you with me so far? Is that the end of the question? No. What did the question ask us? Calculate the area of the floor. So the entire floor would be A and B together. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? What process are we going to use? I'm giving you a second. Yes, we are going to add the area of A to the area of B to get the total area of the floor. Let's do that now. So we'll say area of floor is equal to what? Area of A add area of B. Children, are you seeing what I just did there? All we are going to do now is put down the information. What is the area of A? 64 meters squared. What is the area of B? 288 meters squared. We put our add sign. And then we proceed to add. So far, so good? I know some of you have already worked this out, you know. So we're going to add. Eight at 4, 12. 8 at 6, 14, and 1, 15. 3. So we got 352 meters squared. So the answer to this question is equal to 352 meters squared. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So what we did, we dissected or we broke up our compound shape into more manageable shapes. We know about the square, we know about the rectangle. Are you with me, boys and girls? What we are going to do now is try it a different way to see if we get the same result. Let's try the same problem a different way now. I'm going to draw it again. All right, we're going to label. So you have 12 meters, 24 meters, 20 meters, 8 meters. Right, so that's what's given there. All right, boys and girls. Now, what if we were to break up the compound shape differently this time? Previously, we broke it up here. Some of you may have done this. Nothing is wrong with that. So let's break it out this way So we're going to label here A and B. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? Remember, there's more than one way to solve a problem. All right, boys and girls? So let's go. What do we have to do? We have to find the areas of the shapes. Are you seeing that? Let's look at A. If we look at A, we are seeing what? We have to find something that is missing there. Are you seeing that? We had done it before. So we said 24, take away 8, and we got 16. Remember that, boys and girls? So we have 16 meters here. What would be the dimensions that we'll be using to find the area of A? Well, I'm going to trace the rectangle for you. Are you seeing it? Wonderful. So what will be the length? The length will be 16 meters. What will be the breadth? The breadth will be 12 meters. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So we say length multiplied by breadth. So we have our 16 meters multiplied by 12 meters. Let's do our working. Right. So we got 192 meters squared. That represents the area of A. Did you get that? I hope you did. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? We are going to find the area of B. Let's check and see if we have the dimensions of B. Do we have a length? Do we have a breadth? Let's see. Look at B. Yes, we have a length here and we have a breadth. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So we can find the area of B. Area of B, we will say the 20 meters multiplied by the 8 meters. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? 20 multiplied by 8 will give us what? 160 meters squared. Boys and girls, are you with me so far? Are you with me so far? How are we going to find the area of the compound shape? Yes, we will just add the 2. So we are going to say area of shape is equal to what? The area of A, and we're going to add that to the area of B. What did we get for the area of A? 192 meters squared. What did we get for the area of B? 160 meters squared. Let's do our calculations now and let's see what we get. So the answer is 352 meters squared. Boys and girls, did we get that the first time when we divided the shape? Did we get 352 meters squared? Yes, we did. So it matters not how you divide the compound shape. So you can do it the first way or you can do it the second way. I know some of you are probably thinking of other ways you can use to solve this very problem. By all means, you do that. Remember, you always check back to make sure that you have the correct answer. So boys and girls, I want you to try. Remember, there is no one way to solve a problem. All right, boys and girls, now I am going to issue a challenge to you. We are going to combine perimeter and area together in reference to compound shapes. Interesting. I want you to stay with me now. It's going to be a process, but you're going to figure it out. Let's go to the board. Different zones are built in a school to hold different activities. The zones are made up of 3 squares. Zone A has a perimeter of 16 meters. What is the total area of the 3 zones? I'm going to read it again. Different zones are built in a school to hold different activities. the zones are made up of 3 squares. Zone A has a perimeter of 16 meters. What is the total area of the 3 zones? Boys and girls, can you identify the 3 squares? A, B, C. What information is given? It says zone A has a perimeter of 16 meters. Interesting. If zone A has a perimeter of 16 meters, can we work backwards to find out something? Yes, we can. We can find out the length of one side, because remember, it's a square. We can find the length of one side. Can anybody remember that rule to find the length of one side in a square? What do we say? Perimeter divided by 4. What is given? The perimeter is 16 meters. So the length of side A would be what? Side A would be 16 meters divided by 4, which will give us 4 meters. Boys and girls, are you seeing that? Now, if you look very carefully, watch. If you look very carefully, can we now find the area of A? If the side is 4 meters, what will be the area? What is the rule to find the area of a square? Side multiplied by side. Let's do it one time. So the area of A would be 4 meters multiplied by 4 meters. Giving us what? 16 meters squared. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So you already have the area of one of the squares, which is A. All right. Let's go down now. Stay with me now. Let's look at B. Remember, it's a square. How are we to find the area of B? Well, if you look carefully, we have 8 meters. The length from this point of the square to this point here is 8 meters. But what did we just find out? What did we just find out? We found out that the side of the square is 4 meters. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So therefore, the total length of the side of square B would be what? 8 at 4, giving us what? 12 meters. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So we use A to help us find B. So the length of B would be the 8 meters, and the 4 meters giving us 12 meters. Can we now find the area of B? 12 multiplied by 12. You have the answer, you know. So, side, let's go back. Side of B, I want to make sure that you're with me. Side of B is equal to what? 8 meters, and the 4 meters giving us the 12 meters. Now we can say area of B, 12 meters, multiplied by 12 meters, giving us 144 meters squared. So far, so good. Are you with me? We have found the area of A, zone A. We have found the area of zone B. What's left? What's left? Zone C. Now, this one a little bit tricky, but pay attention. You have to use the dimensions that are given. What do we have? All right. This information is very important here from side B, so everybody's connected. You have 7 meters here, and you have 2 meters here. How are we going to find the length of C? What do you propose we do? Well, I'm going to use my marker. We know that the entire length, I'm coming out here, from this point, this length here will be 12, are you seeing it? 12 meters in all. And if here is 7 meters, to find here will be what? 12 take away 7, giving us what? 5 meters. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? Because remember, all sides in the square are equal. Are you with me? Are you with me? So this portion here will be 5 meters, but it's incomplete. We still need to find this little portion here. Are you seeing that? But what is given? The top part here to here is 2 meters. What have we already established? That the length of side A is what? 4 meters. So if this portion from here to here is 2 meters, then here must be 2 meters. Boys and girls, are you seeing that? By reasoning and deduction, we can get it. So in truth and in fact, the length of side C, this square here is 5 add 2, giving us 7 meters. So, side of C is equal to what? I'm going to put it up. The 5 meters add the 2 meters, which will give us the 7 meters. Are you seeing that? And the area of C will be what? 7 meters multiplied by 7 meters, giving us what? 49 meters squared. Boys and girls, we have found the area of all 3 zones. What are we to do now? What does it ask? What is the total area of the 3 zones? What are we going to do? So the total area of the 3 zones, we will just add the numbers. So total area, what is the area of A? 16 meters squared. What is the area of B? 144 meters squared. What is the area of C? 49 meters squared. All we have to do now is to add and we're done. So let's add 16, 144, 49. Let's go. 6 and 4, 10, 10 and 9, 19. 1 and 4, 5, 5 and 4, 9, 9 and 1, 10. 1 and 1, this is right, 2. So the total area of the compound shape, or in other words, the zones altogether would be 209 meters squared. Boys and girls, do you understand how we got this? Remember, when you're given a compound shape, you have to break it up into manageable shapes. We have squares, you know the area of the square. Find for each one first and then work from there. So we got 209 meters squared. Boys and girls, area, perimeter of compound shapes is not as hard as you think. All you have to do is to practice. Make sure that you know the difference between perimeter and area, and then apply the respective rules as needs be. I know that you can do it. I have all confidence in you. Thank you and see you next time. Goodbye.